This is All-Star Tower Defense X, and what you're looking at are the most recent, current sneaks that you can get your hands on for the new game. Sourced from YouTube, the developers, Ben, Fruity Sama himself, and a little bit of the community. Stick around, I'm going to show you more, we're going to talk about them and go into detail. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, this is the first sneak I wanted to get into, and I'm sure you can tell why. First of all, let's just address that yes, this is the banner in All-Star Tower Defense X, which is pretty crazy. It's crazy that we even have something like this. If you look, you can see we have Irwin 5-star, which means the manual buff is coming back. I mean, that is such a core part of OG All-Star that, I mean, I don't think All-Star Tower Defense X would be complete without it. Now, we have the pity system. It's at 73. My speculation is that it starts at 80, along with the fact that 10 times summons is still on discount, just goated. I'm glad it's staying like that. We have Zoro 4-star and Tanjiro 4-star. Now, especially with the Demon Slayer movie coming out, we talk about that later, but all I can say is I'm hoping for some peak here. But yeah, this is a crazy screenshot, and it's just insane that we have a sneak like this. Alright, now the second sneak that I want to get into is another banner sneak, and what this confirms is that there's still two separate banners. There's the X banner and the Y banner, just like how it is in current All-Star Tower Defense. And another goated thing that this is confirming is that Zoro, or Mihawk, is making a return. Now, what I'm really hoping for, and I'm sure that if there's any OGs watching this video is hoping for, is that he is in the meta, because that would really just bring back some memories of old All-Star Tower Defense when he was in the meta and everybody was using him, and it was just a great time. That was honestly what some people considered All-Star's peak, but that's debatable. But anyways, another banner sneak. You can see 4-star Itadori, you can see Sasuke, Vegeta, you can see whatever his name is from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Don't flame me in the comments, I don't remember his name, okay? Comment his name down below if you want. Alright, I'd edit that out. But the next thing I want to get into is actually something pretty interesting. Now, you've obviously already, you've seen it, but and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, there's Ramen Guy. There's Ramen Guy in, like, you know, the bottom part of your screen where you have your units or whatnot. You can see Ramen Guy, and that's pretty interesting. Because, if I recall, one of the developers, Navy X Flame, Fruit, Ben, one of them, maybe Zeem, said that we're going to be seeing a money unit that we wouldn't expect. Now, I have my money, no pun intended, I have my money on that he's going to be a money unit, but it is possible that he could also be a buff, which would be pretty interesting, but I'm pretty positive he's going to be a money unit. We can also see at the top we have gold and gems, but gems actually looks more like Stardust with the texture and all that, which is quite interesting. We have Blackbeard, Mihawk, quite expensive placement, not very relative to the first game, but yeah, this is a pretty cool sneak. Now we have another UI sneak here, and this is the taskbar on the left side of your screen, which I'm sure you are all familiar with, and we actually see some new things here, and one of them, I have no clue what that could be, so let's talk about it. What is Royal Drops? What do you guys think Royal Drops could be? I want you to drop your opinions down in the comments, by the way. But my speculations is it is either something to do with a VIP Game Pass or clans or like a guild, because I've heard those are rumored, if not confirmed actually, to come out on the ASTD X release, which would be pretty cool. We have Arena, which is PvP. PvP is dropping on release, by the way. We have the Warp feature, which is finally coming to All-Star, meaning no more running around. You can just teleport to wherever you want. Tasks, you know, that's normal. Items, units, summon, everything else is pretty normal over here, but I want to see what Royal Drops is. Alright, we have another sneak, which actually isn't UI. I mean, can you believe it? This is insane. Now, this actually might look a little familiar to my AV players, my anime adventure players. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in that game there's a unit with Conquest and Invincible to where they fight, and they do damage to the, you know, tower units around them or whatever, the towers. But this is pretty cool, and it actually shows that Fruit kind of hasn't hit his ceiling, and all the other developers, of course, not just Fruit, but the creativity, like, hasn't peaked, you know, it hasn't reached its zenith, which means we can still go up from here and see new things, which, you know, warms my heart. I'm pretty excited to see what they'll do in game. We don't really have much more than this, it's just them, like, punching each other, which isn't very that interesting, but yeah, I think this is pretty awesome. Alright, now let's get into a new segment of the video where I'm going to show you some screenshots of messages I've sourced from the developers, and later I'm going to talk about some information I don't have screenshots of. But no more yapping, I'm just going to let you read these. Alright, let's not talk about the last one. But now I'm going to get into a tiny bit of information I have that I don't have actually screenshots of. Now, the other day, Fruit leaked a non-anime unit that's apparently going to be in All-Star Tower Defense X, and his name, or he referred to him as Shadow Slave. That might be the copyright name, that might be not. But if you know what that could be from, drop it down in the comments, because I really don't. And another thing that Fruit said is I asked him if the majority of the community had a distasteful opinion towards traits. He responded with, the traits will stay. So even if we don't like traits, unfortunately they're staying. But he has promised that they will be very different, that they won't be as OP as we've seen in some of those screenshots from Navy. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. You guys' opinions, they matter to me, and I just like hearing what you guys have to say. It would matter to me a lot if you guys subscribed or commented down below. It boosts the algorithm, and it helps me get this out to more people. But I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.